I want to talk to you about my friend Charlie Crawford. He's a 10-time NFR qualifier.
Charlie Crawford, time to just shake it out and win. Got it on him fast, set
there
up.
We are.
Here's a day
nice
money
run.
lead. You betcha 3-8.
That's an absolute perfect run. Timing was perfect from the time the first swing is up. He's got the control. Charlie made it happen by being timed up with his horse with the steer, and being able to not just rope, but to pick that steer's head up without changing the momentum for the heeler at all.
We know his beautiful wife, Jackie, all three of their beautiful children, the founder of the Liberty and Loyalty Foundation, which this year will exceed $1 million raised for military and first responders. I've said it 1,000 times. Charlie, it's time to rope, nod and ride, whip and spur. I want to welcome you to the Charlie Crawford Podcast. Let's ride.
How I choose my head ropes. How I choose my head ropes usually comes down to three things for me. How big is the event? What is the horn size? And what is the weather? So how big is the event? So if I'm going to a roping or a rodeo that pays a lot of money, say the World Series Finals in Vegas, now I'm going to break that rope in and make sure it feels good and make sure there's a little bit of wear on the coil so my rope doesn't slide, but I want that rope sharp. I want it real sharp. I want it when it goes around them horns that it feels like it's just going to crack the whip. That's what I'm looking for in a rope at a big event, big rodeo. Now, say you're going to a good event, maybe it's something that pays okay. It's a low fees, not as big type of roping. Then I'm going to have a rope that still feels good, but it might have a little bit of fuzz on it. It just not as sharp, but it still feels good. I'm going to use that type of rope at that event. Now, if it's just a little jackpot, little fees, maybe you're just going to get some runs on your horse, or it's just something that was down the road, it was convenient to go to, then as long as the rope still feels okay, then I think you're going to be okay. Okay to an older rope will be good enough for a type of event like that. Because basically you're taking a practice rope for something like that. But that way, the bigger the event, the sharper you want your rope to be. Now, horn size. So if I go to a jackpot and they're small horns, and what I mean by small horns is the horns barely stick out past the horn wrap, I'm going to get a double extra soft. I want that rope to fold around the horns. Now, if I go to a roping with medium set of horns, and these are the ones that are about the same size as the Smarty head, just a nice, good set of horns, then I'm going to keep an extra soft rope for that type of horns. Now, if you go to a roping where they're roping 3 to 4 year old steers and the horns are big, then I'm going to keep a soft and make sure that way I want more body. I want more stiffness to keep that rope open. Because if you use a stiff rope and smaller horns, it's a recipe for waving it off. So you want to have the correct lay of rope for a certain type of horn size. Now, if you go to a roping to where it's medium to large set of horns, then I think just because it's hard to carry 2 ropes with you at all times. But an extra soft will probably be able to be a good middle fit. Same thing where some are small and some are medium. Your extra soft will probably be able to work for both. Because the more you use your rope during a jackpot, a lot of times the softer your rope will get because it's breaking the body down. So you'll be able to get by with that. But if they're all small or all medium or all large, I'll keep a certain lay of rope for that type of horn size. Weather. Is it outside? Is it windy? Is it hot? Or is it cold? If it's outside and it's windy, I'm going to get something that's got a little more weight to it, like, say, a power line. Obviously, it's still depending on horn size, but I want something if it's outside and it's windy, and especially like some of these ropings we'll go to here where you have a headwind, I want something with a little bit more weight right there where I've got some better feel where the wind doesn't take off with it. If I get there and I know it's going to be hot, then I want to keep something that's got maybe a little more poly nylon blend where it takes the heat a little bit better, and then try to find shade as much as you can to keep those ropes feeling as good throughout the jackpot as you can. Say it's cold, maybe a nylon type rope. Nylon takes the cold a little bit better. Maybe something a little bit, because they're going to soften up a little bit too in the cold the more you use them. So maybe even if it's medium-sized horns, maybe keep an extra soft and a soft right there in case they get too soft for you. If it's inside, your ropes are going to stay pretty true. And so, basically you'll be able to grab whatever rope feels the best for whatever horn size it is that you're matched with. And Also know too is when it's hot outside, your ropes have a tendency to want to kick out. And what I mean by kick out is they'll kick to the right. Knowing that if you have a rope with a little bit of backswing in it, and backswing is when the rope goes to the inside, it backs up, so it goes to the left. So the hotter it gets, the more that rope will want to kick out to the right. So that if you have a little bit of a rope with backswing in it, it'll actually probably straighten out. And your poly nylon blend has a tendency to take the heat a little bit better. Now, if it's cold out, this is when your rope, the more you use it, it's really going to get soft. Something with a little bit of a kick, because when it's cold out, that rope wants to back up. And so a little bit more kick, it'll actually straighten up to straight. And your nylon seems to take the cold a lot better than your poly nylon blend. And so just knowing some things like that, where you'll know what rope you want to keep in your rope bag. Now, just know the opposite of how hot and cold works and how ropes are made. If you've got a rope that has some backswing in it that wants to back up to the left, and it's cold out and it's wintertime, that rope's going to back up even more. Don't throw that rope away. Just put that rope back in the tack room, wait for it to warm back up, and then crack that rope out. And then opposite too, if you have a rope that was made for winter that has some kick to it and wants to kick out to the right, don't use that rope when it's hot, because it's almost just going to wrap around your hand. Just put that rope back in the tack room, wait till it cools off for wintertime again, and use that rope. That way you don't throw ropes away. I like to keep in my rope bag a double extra soft, an extra soft, and a soft. That way, no matter what the horn size is that I go to, I feel like I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever they throw at me.